it is an end-time messenger. And it really is a signal also, I think, for us to prepare ourselves spiritually, but probably also very much in practical ways. I do think there will be, even physically, even in terms of Earth pages, a turbulent end scenario of the calendar.
Well, some of us Webbot people are interested in being prepared for lots of different things that could happen. So that's something that is kind of right up our alley in terms of being prepared. Thank you so much.
Hi, Carl. Five Cook here. My question concerns October 28th, 2011, which is the end of the Mayan calendar, end of the 7th day of the 9th wave. I know you've mentioned that a shift in consciousness toward more right brain, holistic thinking due to changes in energies from the galactic center, kind of a more positive, I think happier outlook will emerge with the new day. What does happen after October 28th?
You're asking after the day, so to speak.
Yes, sir.
I think. Okay, so let's begin here. That you mentioned the 8th wave. You mentioned the right brain half, and that is coming into activity, human activity, and I think that was essentially with the 8th wave. It's the 8th wave, which was the one that started, then I call it the galactic underworld, starting in early 1999, that sort of brings in really the new feminine, you might say, and it's a holistic thinking, seeing the whole picture, image orientation, very much. And this is something we see in how the internet has evolved. The interactive internet that has evolved during the 8th wave, which now is going towards images in a way that we haven't been communicating between human beings for a very, very long time. And the written word is sort of giving way a lot because people want films and people want YouTube and all these kind of things. Now, when we come to the 9th wave, I don't think that specifically favors the right brain half, but I think it favors the whole, you might say, the frontal lobes, the whole perception side of the human brain and the human mind. And so that's something a little bit different. You might say that the 8th wave, it might have created a balance between the right and the left brain halves. But the 9th wave creates a unity consciousness on top of that I believe is sort of to wrap it all up and sort of seal this balance and transcend it into unity, not just like balance between two polarized fields, but actually wrapping it up, so to speak, creating the unity between the two different polarities. So it's a little bit, that's how I look upon things. Then that brings all to the end of the calendar. And step by step, my fundamental take on this 9th wave is that we are inheriting a world that is not consistent with unity consciousness. And the lower frames of mind, going back about 5,000 years, and also including the whole industrial era of this 7th wave, and also what you might call the right brain era of the starting in 1999. All of those have meant that we've had certain filters for our perception of reality, because we've been in resonance with a world tree, a cosmic tree of life, that during these particular waves has has endowed us with these kind of polarities. And the result is that we've created a world based on dualist frames of consciousness or even in darkened frames of consciousness. At any rate, the world that has been created is a result of different kinds of filters. So now what's happening is that all of these filters are being removed. And it's not happening overnight, as I understand it, but it happens every time there is what you call a day in the ninth wave. It's each of the 7 peaks in this ninth wave. It creates a deepened frame of unity consciousness. This mind without any filters gets to be deeper every time there is such a peak in the ninth wave. And as that happens, it becomes clear to us that not only how we've in the past have been trying to conquer nature, but also how we've tried to conquer one another, so that a mentality of dominance has been created by each of these lower waves. And this is why our world looks the way it does, both in terms of good things and in bad things. Because partly we have inherited a world with all kinds of technology and conveniences that is created by the polarity essentially favoring the left brain half, the old one of 5,000 years. And the whole industrial world was created by an endarkened consciousness. And now we're sort of seeing this. And of course, the way it works is that we tend to create a world outside of ourselves which is consistent with the kind of field that we are in resonance with. And now the filters are being removed. Everything becomes apparent. And the result is that chaos comes in our world, increasingly, more and more so with every this pulse of the ninth wave. And so to the surprise of many people that sort of have been taking these polarized fields for granted, their manifestations are crumbling, and it will be even more and more so. And the difficult part of this is, of course, that we're all today more or less entangled in this world created by filters without seeing reality exactly what it is. And as that happens, the world we've become accustomed to gets to be disturbed. And we're not in a position to sort of choose here, it seems, because, you might say, oh, we want to have all the conveniences we've already had. We just want to become enlightened in our minds. That is not what is going to, how it's going to work. Because as we become enlightened in this sense, that we become in resonance with a field without filters, that means that all aspects, even those that we must say have contributed to our convenient lifestyles, not for the whole world, of course, but for a certain section of the world, that all of these things will be put in question, disturbed, even collapse. So that's my basic framework of understanding where it's all going. And I believe that as we go forward, people will sort of divide up into those that are for this new transformation of consciousness to unity consciousness, and are willing to go the full ride, the whole roller coaster, so to speak, and then a large portion, maybe even the largest proportion of humanity that will simply not want to go along and will resist and not understand what's really happening and what the origins is. I tend to think that I have just recently been writing on an article on these comets that are coming in, Honda and Calleman, and I tend to think that Calleman especially is like the blue star of Hopi prophecy, with its closest distance to the Earth, almost exactly as the calendar comes to an end, and or at least at the midpoint of the seventh day. And I don't feel I know exactly what kind of a scenario will play out there. I just feel that drama will be added through these comets, which conform more to ancient prophecies, and that they somehow will help or trigger the birth of this more how shall I say, a more consistent alignment with this new unity consciousness that is coming. This really might not, I'm not sure if I have answered your question, because you might have asked more exactly what will happen October 28th and onwards. And that, I believe, is sort of, generally speaking, outside of my ability to answer, except for to say in very general terms that it's the world that results from our projection of a unity consciousness. We will then start to project unity consciousness and let those projections manifest in the external world. And how that will look, I don't know. And I don't think anybody knows at this particular point in time.
Yeah, I can understand that. No, you answered it very well. Thank you. Speaking of comets and external forces, I know your website has mentioned the Japan earthquakes they had back in March being linked to these cycles of the ninth wave. Do you expect similar earthquakes to occur around October 28th?
No. Well, to begin with, I didn't exactly predict the earthquake, or I did not predict the earthquake. It just happened to coincide with the frequency increase, and the frequency increase, I think, is a part of our reality that I did certainly predict. What I did say, though, and it's worth repeating, I think, is that we should think a little bit what our earthquakes are. That ultimately earthquakes, they are the result of plate tectonics or continental drift, which is a word I prefer